Hi, I'm back. Okay, now what I'm going to talk to you about on this page is my story and how um, this website instructional video has all come about. My story happened in Carrollton, Texas about 10 years ago. My daughter had just received academic scholarships. She was just in junior high to go on to um, business college. I'm sorry, I'm a bit nervous, but that's okay. Um, and so we had to move to Carrollton. So once we moved to Carrollton and found a place and everything, getting my daughter in school, um, one night we lived in a townhouse and there were some kids playing outside and they were young boys, I believe 8 and 9 years old. And I think it was just one guy that jumped over on the balcony, and he um, was making noise on the balcony where my daughter slept. And so she ran upstairs and she says, "Mom, there's somebody on the back porch." So I ran downstairs, turned out the light, and I peeped out the blind and looked outside, and there was this young boy on the patio. And I turned off the light, turned off the alarm, opened the door because there's a young boy. And I said, "What are you doing on the patio?" And he goes, "We're playing hide and seek." I'm like, "Well, you don't jump onto somebody's back porch, and shouldn't you be inside, sleep at home or doing some homework? It's a school night, and it's about 9 o'clock at night." And so I said, "So where do you live?" And he wouldn't tell me, of course. So I went outside, and there were some other kids, boys playing. And I unlocked the gate that was padlocked, and I let him out, told him not to jump back over it. And I asked his friends, I said, "So where did he live?" And they told me where he lived, and I told them that they should go home. And so we went back in, locked up, turned the security alarm back on, and I decided that very next morning that I would go to work, which was in McKinney, Texas. I woke up about 4 a.m. in the morning, drove to McKinney, Texas from Carrollton, and had to be at work about 6 a.m. every morning. And I told my boss when I got there that I would take half a day off, and I wanted to come back and talk to the apartment manager first, and then also go and talk to the young boy's mother. So that's what I did. Took half a day off, came back to the apartments that I lived in, told the apartment manager what I was going to do, and then I went and knocked on the parents' door. And I asked her, no, sorry, I actually told her. I told her that your son was on our patio, which is my daughter's bedroom, and he jumped over a locked, padded uh, fence. It's a gate. But anyway, I told her what had occurred, and she was really unconcerned. And I mean, we didn't have any words or anything, and I just left. And she didn't say anything to him either, so I just thought it was over. And so I went home and just thought it was over. Went on about the day and everything. Well, within a week, I started getting letters from the apartment manager saying that I had made threats to kill children, to beat up children, and that we, if we keep doing this, not we, they mentioned me, not my daughter, if I keep doing this, that I would have to move. And so I, at the time, belonged to the Apartment Tenant Association in the apartments, and I started writing letters back to the apartment manager and told her all these were lies and accusations, and that I would come and talk to her, and that we should get this fixed because I didn't like the fact that these letters were being placed on my uh, door when I was not home. Well, the letters and everything kept coming. And so I went to the Apartment Tenants Association and I told them what was happening at my apartments. And so they decided to coach me on how to write the apartment manager letters and what I should do. So we were going back and forth with the letters. And so one of the letters came and said that I was just basically crazy, that I should not be spraying tenants with chemicals. I have no idea what that means. And one of the letters also said that I should not go around knocking on people's doors. I have no clue what that's about either. And so they were just ruining my reputation. So what I had decided to do is, of course, I'm a single mom at the time and could not afford legal representation. So I went to like a free agency, which was Legal Aid of Texas, I believe, and also the Apartment Tenant Association in Texas. And so they coached me on how to talk to these people. And what basically happened, long story short, is that we ended up in the courtroom, civil court. They took me to court. Of course, they won. Uh, the parent of the boy came to court, and unbelievable, there were two other women, or no, there was one other woman that came with the parent, and they were false witnesses. And they said that, yes, everything that the apartment manager was putting on my door was true, and that I was just basically uh, needed to leave the apartments. And so in civil court, I did, I was the lawyer myself. And so, of course, I lost and we moved, had to move. And before I moved, there was a letter that I wrote that I had to tell the apartment manager that where I was moving and where I was moving to get my deposit. So to get my deposit, I gave her my address, telephone number, and everything, mailed it to her, certified it, have all that information. And so we moved down the street, basically 5 miles. No, it's probably not even 5 miles. So it was actually from Dallas County to Collin County, which was considered North Dallas, Plano area, and then the other side was Carrollton. Well, we were living there fine and dandy, no problems. One morning, I took my daughter to work on a Saturday morning. She worked at the Willow Bend Mall in West Plano, and took her, made a complete circle. It's like a whole circle or half a circle around the George Bush Turnpike at the time that they had just built new, fresh in Carrollton. And so what I did is make this circle. And as I was coming up George Bush Turnpike, past my old apartments that I had just moved from Carrollton, I happened to see this lady that falsely accused me in court, falsely testified against me. And she was on this side of the road of me, and I was on this side. And I was like, oh my God, there's this woman. So I pulled over, which is the bank. There's a bank on this side. I just pulled over to compose myself, to catch myself, just to catch my breath, because I couldn't believe I just saw this woman. And so I'm on this side. I pull over off the turnpike, and I'm in front of this ATM machine, which is in front of the bank, Bank West, and she drives on. She drives on. I have no idea where she's going, what occurred, but she drives on. And I don't see her anymore, but I'm there. And so, excuse me, I look up, and there she is at the ATM machine. And I'm like, oh my God. So I leave. Well, what happened is 3 years later, the Dallas Police Department and undercover agents, FBI agents, showed up at my apartment in Plano. I think it was considered North Dallas. Well, they showed up at my apartment. I lived on the third floor. I was ascending down the stairs, going to my car. It was about 5 a.m. in the morning, getting in my car. As I was getting in my car with my lunchbox, um, I went to turn on my car, and I noticed this Dallas police cop behind me, and I couldn't get out. And as I went to turn on my car, he shined his lights on me, spotlight on me. And so, next thing I know, uh, FBI agents, I don't know who these guys were, they had on masks, all black and white, and they came running toward me. Get out the car, get out the car. And I rolled down the window, and I believe they had guns pulled. I do not remember, but I know they had the guns on them, whether they pulled them or not. But they had these masks on, and they were. So anyway, I rolled down the window, and they said, "Are you Beverley so and so?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Give me your driver's license." I pulled out my driver's license. As I pulled out my driver's license, they asked me my birthday. Next thing I know, they were snatching me out of the car. They're putting handcuffs on me. Dallas police runs over to me, is about to put me in the back seat with handcuffs on, excuse me. And I was crying, and I was like, "Could you please uh, um, let my daughter come and get my keys to the car and take my lunch and everything upstairs?" And the Dallas police told me, well, they were already upstairs and banging on the door, because of course you know how the police sound. Boom, 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 boom. That's how the police sound. Excuse me. But and it's 5 o'clock in the morning, so I have no idea what went on upstairs with my daughter. And I still, to this day, have not asked her what has went on with her and what happened. But she came downstairs, and I don't know if she had to put clothes on or what. Some of us sleep different ways. But anyway, she came downstairs, and she was in tears. I was in tears, of course. And they had me bent over with my hands behind my back with handcuffs on, and told my daughter, I'm trying not to say her name, told my daughter to take my keys, and that they were arresting me, and they tucked my head and pushed me into the back seat of the car. And my daughter watched me get in the back seat of the car, and as I was pulling out, I turned around and I looked at my daughter, and that was one of the saddest, that is the saddest thing that any mother, father, anybody can go through with, to have their daughter watch you get into a police car and driven off. And she had no idea what was going on. Neither did I. Well, anyway, they put me into the little stair downtown Dallas County Jail. And I stayed there 12 hours. And I got to make one phone call to my daughter from a cell of many women. And there was a window that we could see out of, and as we were standing there, I could see bloody guys being beaten, bloody guys coming in, prostitutes being thrown in one of those people that looked like they had AIDS, just all kind of stuff. They even gave me a shot, some kind of, I don't know if it's a technical shot they give you. Of course, they take your wig off, God forbid. They pat you down, they make you squat. I mean, just unbelievable. The bleach, it's extremely cold. The lights are extremely bright. 12 hours of not what's going on. Finally, I believe they did what they call an arraignment, and you go and see a judge, and you sit in this room, and they tell you why you're there. And also, they took me to the 6th floor, And they said if I went to the 6th floor or 4th, 5th floor, I'm not sure. It's been 10 years. Things are kind of foggy now. But if they took me up there, they would have to do a cavity uh, search. And so, believe me, I didn't want a cavity search. I didn't want to be there. I didn't know why I was there. Uh, so that's my story, and this is how I got started with redeemyourself.com. And I hope to make many, many videos. I also hope to one day produce 3 books uh, about what has occurred with me in the past 10 years, and I relive this every day. Um, Hopefully some of our pages on our website is going to tell you about all your legal resources that you can go to. I did end up in a homeless shelter, me and my daughter. I was there alone. My daughter, I gave her my car and she could take off and live her life because at the time she was in college paying her own way, trying to make it while we were going through all this homelessness and everything. So that's my story. Hopefully on our pages, we're going to have volunteers that we're going to need. We're going to need donations. I will try and get grants to help with this. But most of all, what I'm trying to do and help with is anyone that has been falsely accused and wrongfully convicted or been in the prison system and that's coming out. I hope that I can help or we can help each other so that no one can experience what I have experienced because we don't deserve it. No one deserves that sort of treatment. There should be a better way. And I hope to have a feedback page, a success page, and I would like your feedback. And just let me know how you like the website, what I could do to improve it. And thank you so much for watching. I know this has been a really long video, but I do appreciate your time listening to me. So go ahead, click away, and if I can help, please send some feedback. Thank you.